Hi guys, do you remember when Casey Neistat once said,
Story. Story is all that matters.
yeah, it's
Story
really
is
hard
golden.
to forget because probably everyone who anytime analyzed his success get to the similar conclusions that it's whether because of his frequency or, well, he's just a good storyteller and delivers great stories. However, well, in cinematography we can discuss whether or not it's true, because, well, we live all in the postmodernism, all plots were told a million times, blah blah blah. We have camp culture where visuals are the most important, blah blah blah. However, it would be foolish to underestimate the impact of a good story. And more importantly, the urge to tell a story was something that pushed me into filmmaking. So, that's why I want to invite you to the first episode of the Storyteller Tales. I am Paul, and this is the basics of a story. Yeah, we learned in the school that it's pretty good to start from the beginning. So yeah, I found it really important to first ask a question.
What is a
Story.
miserable little pile of
Yeah.
secrets?
We are surrounded by stories, so it wasn't that easy to answer this. However, when we simplify all stories, we can extract these three essential parts, and those are: first, the protagonist; second, conflict; and finally, the conclusion. It sounds simple, yeah? And to be honest, it is simple. Though still, I saw so many people who just don't think twice about what makes a story, that I think that it would be beneficial for everyone to, well, look closer at these essential parts. So yeah, let's start. Well, people quite often struggle to deliver good, lifelike, and deep character as the protagonist. And I believe that it's mainly because they don't understand the term. Because when we look for some synonyms for the word the protagonist, we may find something like main character or the hero. And this may lead to thinking that the protagonist actually need to be some kind of superhuman who saves the world every Wednesday. However, well, simplifying it to the maximum, the protagonist is this person or group of people who serves a central role in resolving the conflict. And with that said, we see that even the most cartoonish villain can be our protagonist, though I wouldn't set a cartoonish villain as a protagonist, and it's all because, well, we want our audience to personificate with it, and yeah, it's really hard to get into shoes of some immoral beast. So yeah, probably even when we are making some anti-hero like, I don't know, Hannibal Lecter or Dexter, we want them to be likable, and we give them some good motives to do so. Also, I don't know if you have noticed, but I said that the protagonist can be a group of people. So yeah, sometimes the most impactful stories are those with a bunch of characters, like, I don't know, HBO miniseries Band of Brothers, or some classics like Lord of the Rings. All of them are those assembly stories where we have the whole squad of protagonists who do their work. So what's with the next one? The conflict. the conflict is problematic because, well, it sounds really aggressive and really violent. So sometimes people just think that they need this murder in the film to set things into motion. However, yeah, the most important aspect of a conflict is that it needs to set the main protagonist into motion. And it could be practically anything. Like, for example, in this beautiful film, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, the act of buying those billboards was a conflict that sets our 2 protagonists into motion. So yeah, sometimes even when we don't have this whole action, blood and stuff, we can deliver much more impact than with it. And it's also all because of the audience. Yeah, basically, to make impact in a movie, we want audience to personificate with the protagonist and to ask themselves questions what they would do in a similar situation. And this makes the whole meaning of a story. And that's why we want to have some ambiguous choices in this conflict part of our story, because, well, in life, nothing is whether either black or white. So usually we have all those shades of gray. And yeah, it's worth remembering that giving some real life-like choices can make our story better and more impactful, so make people to think harder and longer about what they would do in a similar situation. Because, well, it's not hard to decide whether or not to save the galaxy or kill all the humans in them. That's not really a choice. But yeah, when we add some deeper levels and deeper layers of meaning and moral ambiguity, it may serve as a good conflict. So what with the final one, the conclusion? Well, usually when I see younger creators, when they get these first 2 aspects, so the protagonist and the conflict, it's usually really hard for them to mess up the ending and don't deliver a good conclusion, because it is in our subconsciousness that we want the story to end properly. Though I have one crucial advice for you. Well, I don't know if you have noticed, but the conclusion, so the resolution of the main problem, serves as this culmination point to the ending. And later on, we have epilogue, which gives us some time, a moment of relief, to rethink again the consequences of the whole action. So that's why we want to give this epilogue. With that said, I do acknowledge the fact that sometimes best movies don't have this epilogue, so just ends at the culmination point, though it's really risky. And when we are just young creators and try to deliver our first couple of stories, it's usually better to give this epilogue, to give the audience a moment of relief. Yeah, that would be it for today. In the next episode, we'll learn a bit more about the structure of a story. Not the parts, but rather the structure. So yeah, see you guys next time.